Okay, microphone on. All right. So, first things. Okay, there we go. That's funny. That's why I turn it off to begin with. So that what usually feeds back. It's on a 4-second delay. That's funny. Good start. Okay. Second things first. First things second. This is Soc 211. It's Principles of Sociology. So if you're in the wrong place, stick around, and you will add the class. By the end, you'll want to be. Don't leave. Stick around. Soc 211. Remind me to take my medicine at 8. Okay? Totally forget. And I'll forget all the time to take attendance because I'm a very forgetful person. And this is the first time I've ever remembered to pick this. It's the first time I've ever been to my mailbox here. So I have this sheet with your name on it. So what I want you to do is write, if you could write the date very small in the first column. Find your name and just put an X by it. And this is already one of my many tangents. So I was going to talk about my leg, but attendance. I do not like attendance, but I have to take it because the college makes me take it for connections to financial aid. So like I have to verify that you are here for your student loans. And basically what it is, it's not against you, but you have to go a certain length in the class for you to receive your financial aid. And if you don't ever go, you could, and I missed attendance, then you would get your financial aid, but the government would never recoup their money. So we'd have a bunch of people never going to college but getting a lot of financial aid. So that's not right. So what they do is just verify that if they give you money that you go at least. I guess you could fail, but at least they want to get a little bit in return for their money, which is similar to where I work in healthcare. A lot of healthcare is funded by Medicare and Medicaid, and so the irony of my job in healthcare is you'd think that I work for my agency or for my patients, but really I'm working for the federal government. I'm not getting paid by the federal government, or am I ever talking to them, but I'm performing in a way that I meet the federal government standards because that's Medicare and Medicaid, and that's who reimburses our patient care, which is what pays me. So if I were to upset the federal government and break their rules, they would not pay, therefore the patients could not come, therefore I could not get a paycheck, and our doors would have to close, which would be a shame because I work for a hospice, not a money-grubbing pharmaceutical corporation or anything like that. I work for a good agency. Now back to my leg. Terrible. I don't know if you've ever had an infection in your leg, but it was awful. And I've been in the hospital for 2 days. And usually I'm pretty excited to walk around and slap fives, fist bumps. But my leg is not in good shape. So if I just like pass out or something, I won't pass out. Just help me up and leave, and then come back at 9 and slap me around so that I get home okay. But my leg, I don't know, it's terrible. It's scary actually. It doesn't hurt that bad, but an infection can progress into the like MRSA, the flesh-eating thing, and so like you hinge on this like painful, oh my leg hurts, to like, oh if you don't get this treated right, your leg can fall off, and that is not a good scene. So I'll be struggling maybe, and I'm on antibiotics, so that's why I don't know, maybe I'm loopy today, but this could just be normal. So I work in Port Huron. Does anyone know where that is? How far away?
2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours if you drive the speed limit. But if you drive slow, 2.5. No, it's 2.5. I do drive the speed limit. There's cops all I'd drive the speed limit if there wasn't cops. I'm good, but I can't speed. There's cops. But anyways, it takes me 2 hours. So generally, I'll leave work at 4, meaning I'll be here every week, but sometimes, I walk right in at 6. So I'm sure you won't hate that. I might be like 1 minute late. I'm generally not more than like 1 minute late, but this semester at least I'll get a key. Last semester I didn't have a key. So we were locked out every week, which made it more like 10 minutes late. What was weird was every week we were locked out. My situation is not changing. I will, unless I get fired. I'll always be here at 6 or 6:01, unless traffic or something. And the door was always locked, and 30 students were always lined up outside. 16 straight weeks. No one took the initiative to get the door unlocked. Maybe ask public safety, or you can ask the teacher next door, and I'm sure she would open it for you. But none of the 30 students took the initiative. And I tell you that now, I didn't tell them that ever because I was kind of testing them to see like if they would ever change their ways. But they never did. 16 straight weeks. Every week, lined up in the hall. So that says something about students, doesn't it? That 16 weeks, nobody would open the door or try to get the door open. What does that say to you? What's that? I'm sorry?
They got used to it.
They got used to it. Very good observation. It's a pattern of behavior, which they just did it every week because that's what they do every week. And they never changed because we rarely change, right? You walk to class however through the hallway to get to class today. Probably going to take the same path next week, and then the next week, and then the next week. You're going to sit in the same place probably all semester long because you get used to it. So that is a very good observation because I've been teaching, trying to figure out how to break the mold in the student base because what you'll learn over the course is sociology speaks to a lot of, to take it to extremes, oppressed people, and it often can be looked at in the form of workers or races. These are your two basic oppressed groups that I can, explain on a real understandable level. The workers are oppressed. Why? At Walmart, why is a worker oppressed? No benefits. What else?
No structure.
No structure? How do you mean? I would argue the total opposite. But
My husband actually used to work there, and you go in and they don't tell you what to do, how to do it, where to do it.
oh, so they don't give you the tools. They don't give you the tools to do anything great. They don't tell you how to, make improved processes or cut costs or anything. They don't tell you anything.
Repetition.
What's that?
Repetition.
Repetition. Oh yes, that's good. That's my thing. I stopped shopping at Walmart on January 1st as a New Year's resolution, and it's true. This is why, which ties into low wages. I'm surprised nobody said that at the beginning, but it kind of ties to that. You're oppressed at Walmart because even if you worked 100 hours in the work week at Walmart, you would not make what the president of this college made. Even if you worked 100 hours and she worked 20 because she's on salary, or he, I don't know. But you never make as much money as them. So you're oppressed by your wages. But this is brilliant. Repetition. If you're at a cash register at Walmart, what are you doing for 8 straight hours? Punching in numbers. So at what point in time are you forming a group to revolt against management? At what point are you trying to unionize to raise your wages nationally or go on strike? You can never plan a strike because you're sitting at a cash register punching in numbers. You can't even really use your creative mind, and that drives me crazy because that's why I stopped shopping there. Because every time I walk into Walmart, this is when you're a sociologist, this is just how you think. You walk into Walmart, you look at the cashier, and the first two things that come to my mind are that person makes nothing and has to stand there for 8 hours and probably hate it. A lot of people probably hate it. So stand, what's that?
Said they can't quit.
Right. Yeah, they're tethered down. They're tethered down to that job that they don't want, that's repetitive. They can't be creative, and they can't, well, they have no health care, so when their leg gets all jacked up, they can't go sit in a hospital bed for 2 days. And know that.
Walmart,
Yeah.
and, I have health insurance, but it has a $5,000 copay.
5,000.
So I got sick and I was in the hospital, and now I have a huge hospital bill.
Yeah,
And
which you have to pay back at $8 an hour. Well, I'm not saying you, but
right,
you know.
yes, and not just that, but like if you work over your scheduled hours, they'll tell you that you have to take like long lunch and cut them hours. You can't. They don't pay you. They don't pay you overtime. They don't want to pay you over what they have you scheduled.
It's a terrible, terrible thing, which I cut ties with on January 1st. Now, on the flip side of that, my job as a lecturer at Delta College is my dream. I never grew up and was like, I want to be a lecturer at Delta College. In fact, I never took a sociology class in undergrad. But now, being here, in comparison to a Walmart job, there is an opportunity for upward mobility for me here. I don't get paid much at all. We'll talk about that later. But I teach one class. But I could make it all the way up to the president of the university or college. I could. So there's upward mobility. At my other job, I have health care, so that's good. And then as far as the repetition, I don't have any. I could do whatever I want. I can do anything I want from 6 to 9. Well, not anything, but pretty much anything I want. And I try to push those limits. But I think it's really a good environment. And so I hope you're as excited as I am to be here, because if you prefer to go stand at a Walmart cash register, then go do it. You do have that opportunity. They're probably hiring. But people have less opportunity to get to where you're at. So you're actually part of a privileged class already. And so you can either seize that opportunity or you can let it go down the drain. And probably a third, if not more, of students every semester I watch it go down the drain. And it's always nice on the first day of class, 30 smiling faces or however many people are in here. But here's a raw number for you. At the end of my last semester, at the end of the very last class, the very last minute of the last class, there were 6 people in the desk. And actually, I think it was bigger than this class. But then there were 6 people in the desk. So that's how it is. I give you 100%. I took work off today on health leave, but I'm here because, you know, I think I work 5 days a week, and we only have 16 meetings together. So I'll give you as much as I can every week. On the 16-week thing, I think there's 16 weeks, give or take. But keep in mind, this is a 3-hour class. And so if you miss a class, it's like you're missing 2 classes. And I will go the whole time. Whether or not you stay is your business. I mean, this is information. I'm giving you the best I can, and if you think you have better things to do at the bar, then that's your business, you know? I rarely understand that, and I was thinking about it on the drive over here. funny because I was like, what else is so much better between 6 and 9? And then I was thinking of all the times in the day. I'm like, okay, from 9 a.m. till noon, what's better than this class? Sleeping in, definitely. From noon until 3, what's better than this class? Eating, right? From 3 till 4, nap. From 4 till 6, disc golf, or eat, or video games. But then from 6 to 9, it's like, what else do you have to do? You've already done it because you slept until noon. 6 hours. You've been doing whatever you want. So 6 to 9, you just come, hang out, do this business, watch your brain grow, and then at 9, you go out and you either go to bed or you get drunk. So you have this opportunity, whichever one. See, it's up to you. I don't make no value judgments, and I'm not saying one's better. And I joke a lot like that. I'm not advocating one over the other, but I'm saying, like, realistically, you either go out and you do other business or you go party, but from 6 to 9, nobody's partying from 6 to 9. And the work day, unless you work at Walmart, if you got a shift, I mean, hey, then you have a shift. If you have to feed your kids, I totally understand. But from 6 to 9, I mean, this really, come on. And it's Tuesday. This is not even an exaggeration. I taught a 7 to 10 class at SVSU on a Thursday. Nobody has class on Friday. So 7 to 10 p.m. on a Thursday, oh, nobody wanted to go there. This is Tuesday, 6 to 9. Should be no problem for you. It is a problem for you, though, if you have to feed your kids. 6 to 9. I have already torn down that wall. By what? You think that I record these so I can go home and watch them myself? I never have watched them. But you can watch them. Now, here is a live feed of this class. And the easiest way to get to it is to go to my website, johngirdwood.com/stream. It's the easiest thing I can think of. And so I'll make this live every week. I just started doing this last semester, so I don't think anyone really went home and did watch the live feed, except for my girlfriend. She thinks it's cute. But what's also cool about the way I do this, and because I used to bring my big movie camera and make this HD thing, but what's great about this, it's a Google Hangout, and so this is live, and at the end of this, it automatically uploads to YouTube, right? Automatically. And so if you can't catch it from 6 to 9 because you are feeding your kids working at Walmart, that's okay. After your shift, you come home and you get it off of YouTube, okay? I would give you the YouTube channel, but I just post that on e-learning. Because what's goofy is it's youtube.com/OMIA Foundation. And you'd be like, why is it OMIA Foundation? That's a nonprofit I run, and they won't let me switch it over, so it's just a weird Google thing where the naming is funny. So as soon as I can switch it to /John Girdwood, I'll spread that, but I don't want to tell you to go to my foundation's YouTube channel. So I just give you the links. I'll post them on e-learning. So there is the streaming thing, and I have one up to the thing, to the screen, and then I have one, the other laptop is pointed at the class. If you are at home and you want to join in, if you have a Google account, that would be awesome, because you can actually join into the Hangout, in which case you can ask questions right from home. So ideally, I mean, I would be all for this if 12 or 20 of you had Google accounts and you wanted to do class in the Google Hangout from home. I'd be totally geeked. Now, there's one thing to say, I show up next week, nobody's here, and you all say, oh yeah, we were totally streaming it online. Oh yeah. Like, oh, for real? Not, like, tell me what I said. And then you'll be like, oh, you talked about Flint and the murder rate, because I do like every week. And I'm like, oh, you got me. But no, if you actually participate, then you wouldn't have to come in, and I'd be totally fine with that. In fact, I might even like it. No, I don't know if I like it better. I do like the classroom. We could at least test it out once or twice. That would require a Gmail account, which probably at least half of you have. And then your screen would be down here, and your little face would be on it. In my case, a big face. I got a big head. And then you could ask questions, and you would see the screen and also the slides and everything. It would be great. And that way, if you were on the Hangout, I'd mark you down on attendance. If you just go home and stream it, I have no way to know that you actually did that. Or even if you do it after 9 p.m., that's technically not attendance, so you never get the attendance. You gotta keep the attendance right. So talk to me later tonight at break or whenever about the Hangout thing. I totally recommend it. It would be a lot of fun. This blows up full screen too. So once the thing gets going, I mean, like you could, when you're at home, you don't have to watch, you know, this could be on your screen, and then I'll give you the slides, and you could pull them up if you didn't want to just, if you can't see that, whatever. I'll work on the camera angles, okay? Oh yeah, so here, it goes right to YouTube. And then these are, if you have my YouTube channel, which I'll post on eLearning, these are all my lectures. I wish I named them better. I assumed I did. But from like past semesters. So they're all about an hour long. Some of them are really good. Like when I talk about how to do the midterm and stuff like that, let's say those are good. I prefer engagement with conversation, so I don't say, anytime it's just me blabbering, I don't think that's good. Substance-wise, when I talk about how to write the midterm or the final, those are pretty good ones. I watched 1 or 2 of those. So yeah, it's recorded. Get a Gmail account. You don't have to come to class, right? You do it from home. That'd be cool. It streams, johngurwood.com/stream. If you forget that, you just email me. It uploads to YouTube. So you have no excuse about missing the content. I don't know. I do all this hard work. I set up these goofy laptops with these cameras, figure out a way to upload this stuff to YouTube, stream it live, all this stuff. And then I had students at the end of the semester say, I don't know what methods are. You never taught me that. I'm like, we spent a 3-hour session on it. And it's on YouTube, and I stream it live, and here's the slides. It's all there, but they still say, there's slides? Oh my gosh, 16 straight weeks of this stuff. Should have it down by then. So there's really no excuse. At the end of the semester, what I'm doing in these 15 weeks up to the end is setting up for success. I want you all to get A's. It's not hard, so I just tell you how to do it, and then you do it. But at the end, what I have is a lot of people that don't ever come to class, and then they're like on the 15th week, tell me how to do it now. I'm like, I'm not telling you how to do it. My leg hurts. Give me a break. That's what I'll say. So we'll talk more about the flow of the class, though, but and how you can go down the path to success, et cetera, et cetera. So what else do we got on my website? The syllabus. My pretty little smokestacks, I was just telling the front row before class, I added smoke to the website. I changed the design. City, this is representative of the smokestack. It's got to be abstract. You got to use a lot of parts of your brain. But the URL is kind of long, but it's I'll post it on eLearning, johngurwood/classes/intro/social. But what you do is you would go to my website, johngirdwood.com, which looks like me with my arms folded, and then it looks like this. See my name, my movie, my foundation, and me. And then you go hover over classes. Those are all the classes I ever taught. And then you go down to this one, Soc 211. And then that would get you to this website. But like I said, I'll post it on here. Just telling you how to navigate it. And then if you're ever here and you wanted to get here, which you'd already be there, but it's also one right there. So that's the syllabus in pretty colors. And with the smokestacks.
So you don't have a printed syllabus today?
Oh no. I don't like to print stuff. It's expensive. And it kills trees. So I do not print stuff. I think I always say that if you want me to print one out and bring it in, and you have a good enough reason, I could probably do that. So you don't want to go to my website because you're like, Girdwood, I do not want to support your personal business whatsoever on your website. Totally fine, you don't have to. That's just for an easy way to remember it. This is e-learning. And this is why I don't feel bad not printing it, because this is the college's website. And if you go to e-learning, right there, it's all the same stuff. So this is syllabus there.
So you can get the syllabus.
When did you post this on here?
I think today. I think I posted today. You can get it on there. I think you can even print it off from here.
I just checked my e-learning
Yeah.
before I came to class,
Uh-huh.
and this was not on my the class did not show up.
Oh, posted yesterday. Okay. So there's a possibility that I have to flip a switch or something, or like make it public. I don't know. It's the first day. I'll figure it out by then. It's 24 hours.
Did you send it to her email? Because I printed it off.
Oh, it printed off the email?
Yeah, I just went to my email, clicked for your whatever.
Oh, the
Yeah,
link to
and then I
my
delete,
website.
And then I just got to print it out.
Oh, so she printed out my website, that's why I showed you, so just in case you can go ahead. But I will open this up because the whole class I put on the e-learning. I expect, so this is I guess it's the second of your decisions whether or not you want to drop the class. The first is if you think I'm a total flake, you would drop the class. The second is if you don't like e-learning, then you might not like this class because I think there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 assignments usually, and I put them all in a Dropbox on e-learning, and that's where you turn them in. So you never print them, saves you money too.
Wait, you want assignments certain thing on e-learning?
Yeah, upload them to e-learning. That's why I'll figure it out within the next 24 hours. Like, e-learning's important, so you got to see the syllabus.
So you don't want us to bring them.
Right, I don't like print stuff. There might be an exercise or two that I have you print something and come in and talk about it. I don't like. It's heavy. Put it in my briefcase. Ugh. I just go home and click on it. In fact, e-learning, there are a lot of problems with it. I've been to U of M. I taught at U of M, MSU, SVSU, Delta. I think that's all of them. And so each one has a different system. MSU has Angel, U of M has Blackboard, SVSU has vSpace, Delta has e-learning. The easiest one to grade actually is e-learning. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you upload them to e-learning, and then I grade them, and then that's where you check your grade too.
So you have notes from the class on e-learning too?
I'll put a bunch of stuff on there.
Okay.
Yeah. As we progress through the first week and assignment, you'll get sort of grease the wheels. Like apparently I didn't unlock the e-learning. My bad. I'll fix that. If you don't get the first assignment in because you couldn't figure it out, okay, I'll give you like an extra chance to turn it in. So like I expect you're like e-learning pros, especially some people, this could be your first class ever at Delta. But this is this week, you don't have real homework. Your homework is to figure out how to use e-learning and look at the syllabus. So this is what it looks like if you ever get there. But I'll give you a quick lesson for those who have never used e-learning, how to get there. You go to Delta, you click Quick Links. I'm sorry, you go to delta.edu. You go to Quick Links, you click e-learning. You type in your username. If you have any questions on that, talk to the registrar or somebody. Then your password, which I always forget mine. Then it goes here, and then, yeah, see, this says inactive. I have to make it active. I might be able to do that right now. So yours, it'll either be there or where I get to it is I hover over here, or I click there, I guess. Then all my classes come up there. And this is 13, so it's this one. Third time I've taught it. Okay. Edit course. Nobody has a laptop? You guys don't bring laptops? Surprising. Not surprising. Homepage, name, category. All right.
What you need to see if it's on e-learning?
What's that?
You need to see if it's on e-learning?
Yeah. It's not yet. So let me figure this out. Site setup. Course has a start date. Yeah, 1/8. Now, oh, course is active. See, they make this so hard on us. I had to find that little thing. Now I click save, and it should be good now. Okay, so you can try it now, and it should be good. So the syllabus is there. I think if you click like this, oh, edit, no. You might be able to print that somehow if you really want to. Otherwise, you could copy it and paste it. Oh, there it. I put it up there in PDF, so you can print that at the bottom there where it says attachment. Put it as a PDF.
Yes, I heard.
Okay. So good. We're making progress. So e-learning, and then you asked about like where to turn assignments in. Once you're here, you go to Dropbox. Course task, Dropbox. There's Essay 1, which is due. Why does this keep doing that? January 22nd, which is when which is a Tuesday, in 2 weeks, and it closes after class. So Essay 1 is due in 2 weeks. That makes sense because I tell you about it next week, and the next week you turn it in by the end of class.
How long do that this have to be?
We'll talk about that later. They're all 100 pages long, so
100 words.
that's 100 words. That is short. I've had probably less than that turned in, but anyways, Essay 1, and then it kind of follows that pattern. After Essay 1, the week after that, which would be January 29th, I would tell you about Essay 2. The week after that, it would be due. The week after that, I'd tell you about Essay 3. The week after that, it would be due. The week after that, I'd probably tell you about the midterm, then it's due, whatever. That's how that goes. Then you upload them there. And then it shows me how many people uploaded it, and then how many I have to grade, and then it's grade.
I have no idea how to upload.
You got 14 days.
I mean, I kind of do like pictures and stuff, but not very good.
You got to do it.
I will do it, but I don't have to.
It's one of the things.
Copy and paste. Okay. I can do it.
And don't copy and paste. Don't. It's just because it doesn't, I'll tell you why. It doesn't show up here as a file, so I never know to go in there and look. If this could say 0 and you could have copied and pasted it in there, it wouldn't show up here to me. So I wouldn't know to go grade it. And then like 4 months later, you'd be like, Gerwood, you never graded my essay 1. I'm like, I didn't even know it was in there. So if you upload it, it goes in there as a number. Have you ever sent email?
Yeah.
You know how to send an attachment? Super easy. We'll have somebody show you.
How do you upload it on here?
For you, your view will be different. This is my grading view. You would click here, click that somewhere. How you'd click essay 1, and then you would upload whatever.
The option.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what your screen looks like, but I mean, essay 1 is figuring out how to do that. So you got plenty of time. Figure it out next week, then I'll tell you how to do essay 1. Then you try to upload it, and if you can't figure it out, I'll tell you. I'll have you come up here. I'll type it for you. I'll write the whole essay, and then I'll upload it. But no, see, I want you to get your stuff done and learn from the class. So I want to teach you skills too that you might not already know that are not sociology that help you in the real world. Because I realize a lot of you let me restate that. None of you are sociology majors. I realize that. So I'm trying to give you some skills that will help you. Here's an example. I don't know if you're healthcare, but I'm healthcare, and we have an electronic medical record system that we launched October 1st. And really, it's pretty much totally based on uploading PDFs to electronic patient chart. So that's really the same thing as uploading to the Dropbox in a weird way. It's like the exact same process. And that's all we do in our healthcare agency. So you think, I'm a nurse, I'm just going to be cutting people open with bum legs. Yeah, but then you got to upload like 25 documents. That's what we do. That's our nurses, that's all they do. They cut somebody, and then they go for 2 hours and upload stuff. I mean, like, that's like the reality of it. So teaching you how to upload stuff to a Dropbox is actually a skill that you would need at my healthcare agency. So we'll learn that here. I'll try to help you with your own interests and your own goals. All right, so we learned so far that the webcast is streaming. The webcast is on YouTube. And the syllabus is on e-learning and my website. And that's what we've learned so far, to recap. Okay. Normally, you have the first class, you cover the syllabus. Is anyone here in education? No? There's this thing called a flipped classroom, which this is not a flipped classroom, but the idea of a flipped classroom is they don't give students homework. They have students do stuff in class. And then I don't even know what the students do outside of class, but it's not homework. So they flip the script, you know. So I kind of view this sort of class period as a flipped class because I could go over the syllabus with you, right? But the syllabus is on e-learning. So you can just all go home and read it, okay? I don't understand the need for me to read it to you right now when you can just go read it. That would be redundant. So that's what you will do this week. You go to e-learning and you read the syllabus. And then, this is how the flipped classroom kind of works, or it's weird because it seems like that's really a real classroom. But anyways, you read it and then you come next week and then you ask me any questions. Or you could send me an email too. So you ask, how long to the essays? Well, read the syllabus. And if that doesn't answer your question, which it won't, then come and ask it next week.
I just asked it this.
I know. So many people. Well, this is what I'm going to try to bust through to you, and I shouldn't say never, it rarely works, but I want to persuade you into a philosophy whereby you attend college classes to enrich your life and to become a better citizen, as opposed to coming to class to get a grade or a diploma or eventually a job. Because if you are here to get a grade and a diploma and then a job, it's not to say that you can't get an A. You can still do that, and I've had students blatantly come to class through all the course with that mentality, and they would get their grade. But I will say that those students, there's more conflict with me. We might talk about a conflict theory in the semester. It's a rougher time for them. They leave me bad feedback because, they do not like me. And they're very annoyed throughout the semester. You know what I said the preamble to that was, hey, most of the time, those students end up getting their A, whatever, but they don't enjoy the course because this is my philosophy, which is this is an environment where we can grow our brains, we can challenge our worldviews, we can discuss important social concepts, and we can become better citizens from this class. That's sociology. And you go to your nursing practicum to learn how to cut people's legs open. So go do that in that class. But in this class, we're trying to learn more about society. That's sociology, right? We're trying to learn more about group dynamics and individual participation in groups. And if these are not some things that you care about, if you do not care about anything in the world, then you should not be in this class. But I'll allow you the liberty to choose your own paper topic, do your research on whatever interests you, and we'll have a conversation. So what really frustrates me is when I'll say, let's talk today about whatever you want to talk about. And yet, not saying that you will, you come angry with your head down, sleep, or don't even come at all. Like, I just cannot understand that. Like, I would just say to you, come and you just talk about whatever you want to talk about. And some students don't have the ability to process that. And I'm trying to get you at least to that level, if not beyond. So that's my philosophy. And if you don't like that, you're more than welcome to drop the class. There are at least 2 people on the wait list. People try to get into these classes. So if you don't like that mentality, if you just want a list of assignments with point schemes, how to get your A, whatever, it's not the class for you. This is a class where we think and we do work and we learn and we grow. And that's what results in an A, not writing 100 words. Okay? If you submit your first essay and you are super worried about the quality of it, don't worry about it. Just get better. Keep talking to me. Keep coming to class. You're a genius right now. You just don't know that. Nobody's ever told you that. So you're all brilliant. You just need to get out of your shells and just start showing people. So I'm going to try to get you to show people. All right? So that's what we got going so far. So the next thing is do a slideshow, PowerPoint. Like teach you a little something. 45 minutes into it. We're not covering the syllabus. You guys are all already like, this is so stupid.
Do you get any breaks?
Yeah, we get breaks. Well, you already left. This guy, you already left. If you have to go, then go. I mean, I will take reasonable breaks. Sometimes I'll take 2, sometimes I'll take 1. But if you like have to, if you're like, oh my gosh, 12 cups of coffee was a bad idea, then you're not gonna upset me. But I just try to give you as much. And if you have a weak bladder system, it's not a good idea to sit in the front row. Which is weird. I had somebody who did sit in the front row and had that down. There are 14 slides. I think that they will take me until about 7:30 or 7:25, which will be a halftime break. So what I will say about the slideshow is you don't have to take notes. This bleeds into my philosophy. There are no tests in here. There are no tests in the class. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to memorize anything from the slideshow. So I tell students that sometimes they fall asleep, they tune out, they get on their Twitter, they text their friends, because a lot of people aren't mature enough to handle the responsibility of, oh, you don't have to take notes, you're not going to be tested on this, you don't have to memorize it, so why should I pay attention? Some people can't handle that. So if you can't handle that, that's your deal, but I encourage you to enjoy the slideshow, yes.
Are these on your website? Like, can you print them out if you wanted to?
Yeah, and I'll post the links on e-learning. I try to post everything on e-learning because that's the official class page. I'm not trying to drive people to my website. It's just a lot easier for me to update my website. But also, at any time, email me for anything. I will send you whatever you want. This, by the way, is my only class I'm teaching this semester. Send me as many emails and texts as you want. Last year at this time, I taught 4 classes at 3 different colleges, Delta, SVSU, U of M, and I had a 40-hour-a-week job. That's really hard. So I kind of told people to back the emails off. But right now, this is my only class, so I might actually learn your names, believe it. But yeah, I'll post a link to this, and I don't know how good the video quality will be. I wanted to call this lecture Public Sociology. Why did I want to do that? Some of the slides allude to what public sociology is and what it means. Public sociology combines 2 of my favorite things, sociology and the public. And so that's why I want to call it public sociology. I want to talk about my philosophy of sociology, which, as I've already said, is not to have you memorize the names of old dead guys and what they thought. What I want you to do is actually do something worthwhile that your family would like, your boss would like, your coworkers, the newspaper, or whoever would like. I want your work to be public. I don't want you to create work that you're going to turn into me that nobody else is ever going to see that you're just going to do for a grade. I want you to do valuable work that's going to help change the world. And that sounds funny and cheesy, and maybe it's not going to change the world, but if you at least approach it like it would, then perhaps it could. Okay, because you might agree with me that there are some problems right now in the world, and in the world that we live around Saginaw, and I live in Flint. So I see 66 murders last year, and I say that's a problem. What am I going to do to fix it? You might have heard that guy saying that earlier on the video. So I'm not going to fix the murder rate in Flint for myself because it doesn't affect me. I've never even been murdered, so I'm not doing that for myself. So I would be studying this social problem for basically my community, Flint, the people around me, the public. So that's why I'm highly interested in public and sociology and put them together. But I couldn't really call it public sociology because the slideshow winds up not being a definition of public sociology. It's not contingent on public sociology for every slide. It's more of my philosophy that is an explanation in this presentation of where, who, and why we might do sociology. And I always say do sociology, not study sociology, because you're not taking tests, you're not reading old texts. I'm not having you read any old dusty text. What I'm having you do is do sociology. I'm going to teach you how to do sociology, practice it, which if you're going to be in healthcare, you go practice medicine. So right now we're going to practice sociology, and that means do sociology. I take a lot of material from this Burroway. It's actually a presentation, speech, lecture, whatever he did at the American Sociological Association meeting when he was the president. And he did it in 2004, I think. It was published in the American Sociological Review in 2005. I take a lot from that. It's not technically an academic journal article because it's in an academic journal, but it's not an article. It's more of a speech that was transposed into text. But his speech, I believe, was called For FOR, Public Sociology. I take a lot of stuff from that. I also cite the Google Dictionary plugin at one point, and I use openclipart.org, which is where I get my cityscape. So anytime you use an image or something from the web, you have to make sure, number one, that you can use it for free. Sharing license, Creative Commons license, whatever. And OpenClipArt has shared license, Creative Commons license, so I can use that and give it to you in public without the SWAT team coming in, busting up our lecture. So make sure your sources are listed in everything you do. We might talk about plagiarism throughout the semester. So the first thing that I picked up from Burroway's speech was a reference to the dialectic. And this is your first vocabulary word, dialectic. What is it? A dialectic is the existence or action of opposing social forces or concepts. So dialectic, you can see di, which is trying to think of a word that starts with di, but it's kind of like bicycle, it's kind of like duo, whatever. It's one of those prefixes, dia, that means two opposing, I think. I don't know Latin, but dialectic, you can just think, all it means is two opposing social forces or concepts. And what Burroway said was the dialectic of progress governs our individual careers as sociologists, as well as our collective discipline, the discipline of sociology. So what he's saying is there are two opposing social forces or two opposing concepts of progress that are governing our careers. Two opposing approaches to sociology. And what he's talking about in his lecture called For Public Sociology are the two concepts, one being public sociology, and the other being, you can name it, private sociology, or fat cat sociology, or ivory white tower sociology, or academic sociology, or scientific sociology. Basically these sort of highbrow views of sociology that many in the field have, and hopefully none of them will be watching this. They think that they are the bee's knees, and they do this stuff that I'll never be able to do, and they go sit in their fancy offices and get paid tons of money and get huge research grants to compress tons of data, and they're sociologists. And they produce articles that everyone's going to cite, in academia, and they're very prestigious and esteemed. This is your sort of high-class sociology. Then on the other hand, there are people like me who are posting community college sociology lectures on YouTube. Okay, so you might call me the quintessential public sociologist. And these are the dialectic opposing forces in a discipline. Again, you've got these researchers that crunch numbers and work on huge grants, and then you've got other guys like me that teach at a community college and post lectures to YouTube. Now, there'll be some crossover sometimes. Yale inspired me to post my lectures on YouTube because Yale posts their intro to sociology lectures on YouTube. And so things are changing. But in 2004, Irwin was really concerned about the dialectic of progress, sort of the fat cat sociologist and the public sociologist. I'm more of a public sociologist. So can you name a dialectic of progress that we experience here in class? There are two. A dialectic is two opposing social forces or two opposing concepts. And from the things that I've talked to you about in the last hour, can you think of a dialectic of progress, two opposing things?
People that came in the classroom just to get a grade. People that came in the classroom.
That's perfect. It's almost like I set that one up. I didn't intend to.
I mean,
Subconsciously. There are people in this class that are here, this is what she said if you didn't hear it, that are here just to get a grade. And there are other people that are going to buy into my whole thing of like, let's just all kumbaya, sort of have a good time and just learn, you know? And so those are two opposing, I would call them concepts. The whole philosophical learn and grow mindset versus the very bureaucratic, give me my diploma, give me my $35,000 a year job sort of student. You don't all talk like that. But I would say those are two opposing concepts, which I think are influenced by two opposing social forces. The social forces behind those concepts, I think, are things like Walmart. I think in America, there is wool over the eyes of so many people that I don't think you came out of the womb thinking, I need to get an A in 2013 at Delta so that I can get my $40,000 a year job. I don't think you came out of the womb like that. So I think that the opposing social forces that are driving these opposing concepts are some of you have experienced either a family rearing or through the K through 12 education system or just American culture that this is the American dream. These are social norms. This is what you have to do. And now you're doing it. So the real frustration for me when I get those students who have those opposing viewpoints than me, I'm not upset at the individual. If anyone's here for a grade, for a job, whatever, I'm not upset at you. I'm more at a deeper level upset that you've been fed through this system that this is what you want to do. And I don't really think that's what you want to do. I think you want to do something else. I don't think anyone really wants to work the third shift at some hard job and, I mean, struggle for a paycheck to like pay a mortgage and then pay off a $5,000 health bill. Like, I don't think anyone's really wants to do that. I think we all want to do stuff that I'm lucky enough to do in my life, and this is why I have this mindset, is that I'm lucky. I am super lucky. And now I get to do whatever I want to do. And so since I got to that level of I don't have a house payment because we inherited our condo, I'm super lucky. I got this job. I don't know how I got this job. I'm super lucky. So now I come here. I have no stress. What do? I do whatever I want. I do what because I was raised by a mother who kind of instilled these values into me, like, you don't want to go work in a factory. You want to be a creative, sort of change the world type of guy. So that's how I came out. On the other hand, some people are coming from this factory mindset, you might call it Fordism, and just want a $40,000 a year annual income. Okay, so there are social forces causing these dialectic concepts. I don't think we're just born, somebody wants a $40,000 annual income, somebody else wants to be weird hippie guy like me. I think we come through these systems that then create our perspectives. Okay?
So that's the reason why some crackheads celebrities.
Could you say that a little bit more clearly? That because I'm not clear on what you're saying.
Because if you don't have a problem, I said, is that the reason why so many celebrities crackheads? Because if they don't have anything else to do, they do whatever they want to.
Okay.
They got everything,
Well,
so I'm not
I'm not a crackhead. I've never actually seen it, but the point is valid. And when I was in undergrad, I went to undergrad at Western Michigan University, go Broncos. I had a very influential professor to me in my life. Okay, he taught the dialectic sort of style of thinking, which is another reason that I have that instilled in me as it came through my undergrad. And he had a theory on drug use. That was, drug use comes from a place of boredom and nothing else is filling that gap. Right now in my life, like, I'll get to celebrities in a second, but like in my life, like, I don't need to be on drugs right now because I get, it sounds cheesy, but, well, no, it's true. Right now from 6 to 9, I'm like super, I'm super high. Like this is how I get off on this. I mean, this is what I'm all about. Like, I want to engage with you. I want you to say brilliant stuff and be like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So I don't need to do drugs right now from 6 to 9.
This really reminds me of like Alabama. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
There's 2 different types of people down there. You have the people who were born into the welfare families who never look to better themselves because that's what they're used to. Then you have the people who were born into the families whose parents go and work 40-hour-a-week jobs. So that's what's instilled in them, is the fact that they need to work the 40-hour-a-week job to do better for themselves. When I was down there, like what she was talking about with like the boredom thing, it's these people who don't work, they group together because they don't have satisfaction in their life. So they're the ones who do the drugs. They're the ones who don't really benefit society, I guess. And that's kind of reminds me of like the opposing social forces that work in your life. Is, you know, you have the people who from the time they were born were instilled with the good, you know, like the morals, and then you have other people who weren't necessarily instilled with those morals.
So this is a good progress of the discussion, because that's one theory, that's one group, and that theory might be supported by a study of that group. Your theory might carry over into other groups, but it can't be broadly applied to America in general, because there are a ton of people where that theory might not apply to. Yet it does carry over to the celebrities, because you're talking about the values instilled in people. And with celebrities, maybe you have someone that comes up in this lifestyle, then all of a sudden becomes a celebrity, but their habits remain the same, so they are sort of once a crackhead, always a crackhead, and they're a celebrity crackhead now. But there's probably very few crackhead celebrities that come up and are sociology professors at my age, and then all of a sudden put out a CD like Justin Bieber, and then all of a sudden I'm a crackhead. Like, that doesn't happen very often. Like, it might be a lot of times that they've already had these values instilled in them, and then they're just amplified by the media, and that's when we find out about them. Because the media is not really shining a big light on those hooligans down there.
Like, what if, like, Lindsay Lohan, like, when she was younger, she had so much fame, and then she kind of just drifted back, and then she got into drugs, and then because she didn't have the fame and attention on her anymore. Is that, like, what the theory would be?
That could be another theory, which that theory could be applied then to celebrities or other types of children, because it doesn't have to always be a celebrity. You brought up a couple different elements, like sort of attention at a young age, or sort of people telling you you're great at a young age. So you could look at other maybe gifted students in K through 12 who get to college and maybe struggle, and then you find those are the potheads in college. The gifted students in high school who came to college and aren't getting the same encouragement or praise that they once had. So that's how you could do that theory and test it over different groups. So these are great points, because what we're looking for in sociology is we're looking for theories, concepts, perspectives that we can then test and see if they are supported or negated by data on scientific tests that we do. We can never prove anything, and we can never disprove anything, but we can always support and negate these theories. So you might think that racism is the best thing in the world, or you might think that it's the worst thing in the world. We're never going to prove or disprove that. We can only show the effects that it would cause in our society. So if you think that abortion is good or it's bad, you know, you're not going to prove to me that it's good or bad. You'll probably fail the class either way you choose. What you would do is you would show the effects of, say, states with abortion or without it, and you say, states with abortion, there are this many, blah, blah, blah. Without it, there's this many, blah, blah, blah. And so you would then tell how abortion laws affect a society, but you wouldn't say whether or not it's good or evil or bad. And you don't prove or disprove anything about it. You just say, these are the facts, and this is what it causes. So we'll talk about cause and correlation down the road. We'll talk about the A leads to B, or the A coincides with B, or the A plus B equals C, sort of things. In which case, A and B are elements. A could be race, B could be age, result could be teen pregnancy, or drug use, or murder. A could be city, citizenship versus rural. B could be race. C could be murder. Murderers in Flint with the 66. And then you see what part of their socioeconomic status leads into the result of, say, a crime like murder or any crime, domestic violence or whatever. Still on this dialectic slide. That's how it goes. I love the presentations where I get to the break and I'm like, oh, 2 slides. Who cares? That's just great. Because we do this. It's how the class works. Now, this second slide about dialectic. Again, it's the existence or action of opposing social forces or concepts. So can you name a dialectic of progress that we experience outside this class? We talked 15 minutes ago about the dialectic inside the class, people who are here just to get grades and jobs, people are here to learn and grow. Now, can you think of a dialectic of progress that we experience outside the class in society?
Religious beliefs, cultures, or
Yes, opposing religions. Those might be considered opposing concepts, like I believe in this God, you believe in no God. Those are opposing. And then the social forces behind those might be the Catholic Church versus the government, or church in schools, church in and out of schools, in schools, whatever. So that, yeah, that's a good one. Religion. That's a social institution that shows up on my next slide. Did you read these beforehand? Social institutions are the basic forces, in my opinion, I think, and I'll teach you that they are, that are in opposition. And we have social institutions kind of run this class. This will be like 4 of our weeks. We'll talk 1 week about family. That's one of my favorite things. I've taught that class, family sociology, at 2 different universities. We'll talk about government. We'll talk about religion. I have a degree in religion, comparative religion from Western Michigan University. I like it. We'll talk about education. I guess I'm employed in the education system. I used to work for government. There we go. State Capitol. You should get a summer internship there. It was a blast. State Capitol intern was wonderful. So these are not all social institutions, but these are 4 very common, easy to understand social institutions. And when you have family, abortion could be considered a government or a family issue. Teen pregnancy would be a family issue. So you've got people who are getting pregnant at young ages, and other people are concerned about family planning and contraception or something like that. Contraception then seeps into religion, or abortion seeps from religion to government. And then whether or not we should teach sex ed in schools creeps into education. But that's just one topic that kind of blends into all the rest. Your social institutions. there that we'll talk about in class very often, opposing social forces. So we talked about concepts being in opposition from the way we were raised. So I said that, like, my mom raised me to go change the world, and someone else in here's mom raised them to get a job as an attorney or something like that, and do contract law instead of poverty law. So we have different upbringings, right? But our perspective on the world is going to be different. So look at this green box and tell me what is your perspective and what has shaped your perspective. So you can run with one of those social institutions. You could like take an easy way out and just say, hey, I'm like a Bible thumping church guy and I was raised that way because my dad's a pastor. Nobody's going to judge you, but just like explain what your perspective is in any way, shape, or form, and tell me what shaped your perspective.
Nothing is given to you. I guess what shaped my perspective just how I was raised. I mean, never really had nothing like this, you know, as far as being a spoiled kid. Most of my family had to work, or half of them was in jail for stealing something. You know, other than that, that's about it.
That's an interesting ending there. It's like I share that with you, and we have probably somewhat similar certain parts of our upbringing, but then you ended with that thing about the criminals. And I'm wondering, you just made me think, like, certain types of crimes are going to be related to certain different types of things. Domestic is different, you know, rape's different than burglary, this sort of thing. If any of you are here in criminal justice, you would understand that. So you talked about theft and that things aren't given to you. And I wonder if there's some type of correlation there. Because if nothing's given to you, right.
You got money, I'm broke.
Right. Yeah. Which, that has to come from your upbringing, because that's different than me, because I'm not saying theft is bad or anything like that. Deep down, I don't think stealing is right. I'd rather work for something than steal it, because my upbringing was raised through like a Protestant Christian, like stealing's wrong, and also I never was in a point in my life that I needed to steal anything. Although at one point in my life, I did work for a food place, and I would like, you know, skim some of the food off, you know, you know what I mean? Because at that point it was like this need-based, like if I need something, food, I'm gonna go get it, you know. And I don't consider myself a thief, right? And so, you know, so then you look at the criminals that steal though, and you also look how many of them are stealing food, you know, like how many of them are stealing Jordans or something like that. So that's a great subject. If you're interested in something like that, write your final project on it. I would love it. I'm really interested in that stuff too. And I'm by no means an expert. I don't know anything about criminology. I don't study that. Are you criminal justice?
I'm criminal.
No? I get a lot of criminal justice and healthcare in my classes. What's your major?
Nursing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Did you want our perspectives on
anything? He said he was raised to nothing's given to you. That's his life worldview.
I was raised to have family values, but what shaped my perspectives is your family members that.
Did you have a strong family?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what would shape your perspective is like, you know, you're raised in a household to where you got your parents telling you, okay, value your family, and then you do something for your family, and those are the same people that will harm you more than what they would do good, but you're taught to have family values.
That is also brilliant. That's brilliant. You guys are so smart. You don't even know it. Seriously. You know what that makes me think of? Oh, that's so smart. So smart. Okay. She just said that she's taught that her family is very important, and then a lot of times the family will come back to bite.
Right.
And I've seen situations where families, and I look back at you because a family, strong family, and then one of the family members steals stuff. It doesn't make any sense. The family member doesn't steal stuff from the neighbor, steals it from the family. It doesn't make any sense. So she brings this up. You're taught your family is supposed to be strong, and then they come back to bite you. You know what that instantly reminded me of? This book I'm reading about Flint. I'll talk about Flint every week. If you guys don't like Flint, then you should drop the flags. But so Flint has been taught for 100 years that what is strong and what should they put their faith
Yes.
Themselves. They should.
That's the only thing you can disrupt.
Like through me or
I don't know about
in. Is anybody from Flint? What about Detroit? Okay, let's say Detroit then. Yep. This is what I'm saying. Flint has been taught for 100 years to put your faith, blood, sweat, tears, all your life and devotion into this automotive industry. You got people that will fight, literally die for the union, and they go in Flint, the sit-down strike, all this stuff. And then what does the auto industry do starting in the 80s and now they just, they steal from them. I mean, they've taken the pensions away, that's stealing people's money, and they abandon them. So just like the family, that's why it's brilliant. Taught for 100 years. This is what's going to keep your city strong. This is what's going to keep you economically at good tidings, you know? And then what? That's what comes back to bite them.
That reminds me of like the armed forces.
Oh, sure.
It's military. And they instill in these guys to depend on the military, and as soon as you get out, they totally forget about you. And that's the same thing he went through. He got injured in Iraq, and they talk about, you know, when you sign up that they'll take care of you even if you become injured. But all they do is they medicate you and then leave you behind.
It's a destructive dependency. That's the best phrase I can use. It's a destructive dependency. You're depending on the military for all these things. You're depending on the auto industry. You're depending on your family. You're building this dependent relationship that's destructive. You don't even know it. Like these guys in the auto, everybody is like, buy American, but buy American, so what? They just go do something bad to your city. I was going to say a bad word, but screw your city, you know? Like, you're going to go buy Ford truck so that what? They can build up your city and then leave it, you know? So it's this destructive dependency.
Something else that can alter your perspective from the education system is like how you send your kids to school and then you got a crazy man come and kill all of the kids.
Yeah. I would say, though, not, by the way, if you want to write on the military, please do. That'd be a great topic. Not to go too much off, I'm going to rein it back into here, but you may come to learn that the curriculum presented to kids through K through 12 may be more dangerous than these random mass murdering shooters. We have curriculum being pumped into the mind. You may come to learn that school lunches are more dangerous than mass murderers. Because school lunches go to, across the nation, to how many kids?
Yeah.
And if they create this school lunch program that has a lot of red meat, and then we just, oh, red meat causes heart failure, whatever. You know, I'm just generalizing it. And all of a sudden we're figuring out, how come life expectancy just went down 20 years, you know, or something like that? It's because we've been pumping these kids full of red meat for 12 straight years. You may figure out that that's more dangerous than some guy that shoots 30 kids in Connecticut. But, I mean, I'm not saying it is or it's not. I'm just trying to throw out an example. You may find out that institutions in their macro scope are more powerful, which can lead to more danger at a grand level than at a micro level of a mass shooting. But at the macro level, if you're talking about shooters, you would talk about like mental health and that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that, write a paper on it. I'll say that 1,000 times this much. Back to Burraway. 4 types of sociological knowledge he talks about in his speech: professional, critical, policy, and public. So we talked about you're in healthcare, you need a nurse. This will be professional sociology. So if you were going to write a medical sociology or sociology of work, something about Walmart, that might be a professional sociology. Critical sociology, see, that's why I put the nurse up there, professional sociology. And I'm broadly generalizing. If you're going to do a critical sociology, that's a picture of Karl Marx. If you're a philosophy major or an artist, if you like to think abstractly, or if you're going to be a lawyer or something, you want to write some theoretical piece. Those are very rare in my class because it's an intro class, but I may get 1 or 2 per semester. You can do critical sociology, and again, it's a broad generalization for me. Policy. If you're talking about like a school lunch program, or like an abortion issue, or certain military benefits, or wage an hour with Walmart, that would be a policy. Or if you're any government type person, you do policy. And public sociology. And that's sort of what I do, which is I take basically public issues and I try to bring them to light and have a dialogue with non-sociologists about how we can make the world better, you know, in a public forum. I don't hide up in an office and do some type of theoretical, you know, abstract writing like Marx did. I just put it all out in public and say, here's the issue, here's the topic. Working for the federal government. I'm not getting paid by the federal government, or am I ever talking to them, but I'm performing in a way that I meet the federal government standards, because that's Medicare and Medicaid, and that's who reimburses our patient care, which is what pays me. So if I were to upset the federal government and break their rules, they would not pay, therefore the patients could not come, therefore I could not get a paycheck, and our doors would have to close, which would be a shame, because I work for a hospice, not a money-grubbing pharmaceutical corporation or anything like that. I work for a good agency. Now back to my leg. Terrible. I don't know if you've ever had an infection in your leg, but it was awful. And I've been in the hospital for 2 days. And usually I'm pretty excited to walk around and slap fives, fist bumps. But my leg is not in good shape. So if I just like pass out or something, I won't pass out. Just help me up and, you know, leave, and then come back at 9 and slap me around so that I get home okay. But my leg, I don't know, it's terrible. It's scary actually. It doesn't hurt that bad, but an infection can progress into the like MRSA, the flesh-eating thing, and so like you hinge on this like painful, oh my leg hurts, to like, oh, if you don't get this treated right, your leg can fall off, and that is not a good scene. So I'll be struggling maybe, and I'm on antibiotics, so that's why I don't know. Maybe I'm loopy today, but this could just be normal. So I because I'm a very forgetful person. And this is the first time I've ever remembered to pick this. It's the first time I've ever been to my mailbox here. So I have this sheet with your name on it. So what I want you to do is write, if you could write the date very small in the first column. Find your name and just put an X by it. And this is already one of my many tangents. So I was going to talk about my leg, but attendance. I do not like attendance, but I have to take it because the college makes me take it for connections to financial aid. So like I have to verify that you are here for your student loans. And basically what it is, it's not against you, but you have to go a certain length in the class for you to receive your financial aid. And if you don't ever go, you could, and I missed attendance, then you would get your financial aid, but the government would never recoup their money. So we'd have a bunch of people never going to college but getting a lot of financial aid. So that's not right. So what they do is just verify that if they give you money that you go at least. I guess you could fail, but at least they want to get a little bit in return for their money, which is similar to where I work in healthcare. A lot of healthcare is funded by Medicare and Medicaid, and so the irony of my job in healthcare is you'd think that I work for my agency or for my patients, but really I'm working. Okay, microphone on. All right. So, first things. Okay, there we go. That's funny. That's why I turn it off to begin with. So that what usually feeds back. It's on a 4-second delay. That's funny. Good start. Okay. Second things first. First things second. This is Soc 211. It's Principles of Sociology. So if you're in the wrong place, stick around, and you will add the class. By the end, you'll want to be. Don't leave. Stick around. Soc 211. Remind me to take my medicine at 8. Okay? Totally forget. And I'll forget all the time to take attendance. I work in Port Huron. Does anyone know where that is? How far away?
2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours if you drive the speed limit. But if you drive slow, 2.5. No, it's 2.5. I do drive the speed limit. There's cops on. I'd drive the speed limit if there wasn't cops. I'm good, but I can't speed. There's cops. But anyways, it takes me 2 hours. So generally, I'll leave work at 4, meaning I'll be here every week, but sometimes, I walk right in at 6. So I'm sure you won't hate that. I might be like 1 minute late. I'm generally not more than like 1 minute late, but this semester at least I'll get a key. Last semester I didn't have a key. So we were locked out every week, which made it more like 10 minutes late. What was weird was every week we were locked out. My situation is not changing. I will, unless I get fired, I'll always be here at 6 or 6:01. and unless traffic or something. And the door was always locked, and 30 students were always lined up outside. 16 straight weeks. No one took the initiative to get the door unlocked. Maybe ask public safety, or ask you can ask the teacher next door, and I'm sure she would open it for you. But none of the 30 students took the initiative. And I tell you that now, I didn't tell them that ever because I was kind of testing them to see like if they would ever change their ways, but they never